Let's talk about this notation for functions. F of x is how we read this, right? We write it as f parentheses x, but it's read as f, let's put this in quotes, f of x. Okay, so we're talking about f of x here. And it doesn't necessarily have to be f, it could be g or h, and it doesn't have to be x here, it could be t or really anything. Let's look at an example and just talk about it a little bit. So here we have f of x equals 3 minus 7x. While you're getting used to this notation, let's just be clear, this is exactly the same thing as y equals 3 minus 7x. Okay, these are the same. Right, the f of x is the same thing. And okay, that's a reach to say they're identical, but for all intents and purposes, while you're getting started with functions, if you ever get in over your head and you're saying, I'm confused with this notation, just go back to y. It works the same as having y right here, right? Y equals 3 minus 7x is the same thing as f of x equals 3 minus 7x. So that's a good anchor there. But let's keep looking at this. What this notation means, f of x equals 3 minus 7x, it means whatever you plug in here, goes in for the x right here. Okay, so if I wanted to take, say for instance, same function here, let's go f of 4. Okay, what that means is we're plugging in 4 into this function machine, right? So we have 3 minus 7 now times 4, because this function told us that every time we see x, we're going to plug in whatever's in these parentheses here. And then we can evaluate it from there. So 3 minus 28, okay, negative 25. We can plug in any number for x that we want, and the function will tell us what comes out. Now let's try another one here. Let's maybe do f of, maybe, I don't know, negative 1. Okay, so 3 minus 7 times negative 1. Well, that's 3 plus 7, 10. Okay, so, and it doesn't even have to be a number. We do f of t. Okay, so this is telling us every time we see an x in the function, we're going to replace it with t. So this is 3 minus 7t. Okay, that's good. Right, it can even be something bizarre. Let's try f of triangle. Okay, function doesn't care. Function takes whatever goes in and it runs the program on it and spits something else back out. So the function knows that it's 3 minus 7 triangle. Okay, it's just whatever x was, the function replaces it with what you put in these parentheses. It's like a little computer program. Let's try f of x. Let's do f of x plus h. Right, you might see this later in your studies a lot. Okay, so that tells us every time we see an x, we're going to replace it with x plus h. So 3 minus 7, I'm careful to put parentheses on there, x plus h. I replaced our x with x plus h. Okay. Now sometimes you may want to express functions as ordered pairs. If you come across something like that, let's look at this one here. We put in 4 for x, and out came our negative 25. That's our y. So an ordered pair version of this function, at least at this point, right, we just go 4 goes in for x, negative 25 goes in for y. So there's our ordered pair, I guess, representation of this function.